So Shrimps, you, you, what? You're not Shrems. You're supposed to be there. Who's there? There's no one there. What? It.
Next on Ugly Thirds. Welcome back, sports fans, to a unique episode of Ugly Thirds. Phil and John. Anyway, so our topic today...
Take it away.
Oh, I have to introduce what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about the leak, the Winter Classic, the 2024 Winter Classic jerseys that have been leaked pretty much over the weekend. So myself and John, let's take it away.
This is weird. This is weird having you on this side. Okay. We've been waiting on the Winter Classic jersey for a long time. We've all wanted things to happen with this, and they finally leaked. I mean, Reddit is certainly saying, is this really a leak, or was this... Anyways, let's show how we first saw Seattle's.
So this is Seattle's, and this was leaked. It was at a Utah Jazz game of all places, like a basketball game. Like, it's kind of a little bit weird, and there's some explanation potentially for how this got leaked.
So if you give the next slide, which is the thought is, and no one knows, this is all speculation, is that the Kraken had given the Jazz the jerseys to wear later on as part of like putting up the hype, because the timing was certainly terrible for building hype. Then again, it is the NHL, so if anyone's going to mess it up, it's the NHL. I tend to believe that the NHL managed to screw this up. When I guess in part the NBA managed to screw this up. But regardless, we saw the jerseys. Now the other how we saw Vegas is not a leak. I tend to agree with Reddit that this was planned marketing, but I get the feeling it was pushed a little earlier than they had intended.
Right. So this instance with the Jazz, like, well, the cat's out of the bag. Let's just do it. Let's push on. And I was saying I've been waiting to get the jerseys, and stalking my order history last year.
You are cutting yourself off with that.
It's kind of hard for me to do this, but anyways,
or just don't leave it up.
But anyways, I had bought the Pittsburgh one the Thursday before Thanksgiving, so I was expecting by this Thursday that these jerseys be released. And obviously they have not. And the Vegas had their cryptic tweet of it's a great day for a classic reveal, and then nothing came from it. So so next we're gonna go.
Well, let's
go back.
Let's talk about this jersey first off.
Sorry,
you're gonna have to do a little bit of bumping around. Look, all in all, it's a good looking jersey. It's exactly what we expect. It's a barber pole, which is based on the 1917 Seattle Metropolitans, who were red and green, and it was a much tighter barber pole, as one would be expected, I suppose. And they modernized it, right? Because there are bad barber poles. Phil, can you take that off the? There are bad barber poles that we all love to hate. And then there are good barber poles that we love to love. And essentially, I realize only in getting it out was the only difference is Seattle had 2 sets of stripes on the sleeves. Otherwise, it's exactly this jersey. But everyone liked this. It worked. It's a barber pole. And with those colors of, dark blue, light blue, and cream, vintage white.
Vintage white, yeah.
And the logo does stand out well. I mean, look, would I have loved to seen them actually do red and green? Would I have loved to seen a more proper throwback for this? Yeah. This is what I would have wanted for like a stadium series. This would have been okay. Let's do a modern version or reverse retro. This is more reverse retro to me than a Winter Classic.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, this is the reverse retro that I'm wearing right now, which is very similar structure as well.
And I mean,
and I saw some comments, and I kind of agree with some of them. The collar, like someone made a comment, I forget where it was add red and green into the collar, make it pop a little bit more. It's good. It's missing like that last thing to make it really pop.
I am very whelmed by this.
And I'm curious.
I'm thinking there'll be red numbers, and I think that'll help.
Yeah, red numbers, and then with the patch, and I think with the combined of those two, that I mean, I'm definitely gonna get one. That's my
Well,
shtick
yeah, and
now.
I will likely buy one of these as well. Why don't you go full screen and pull up Shrem's comment? And we can
Is
analyze
that the
that
next
because
slide?
yeah, no, because you're gonna have to skip over Vegas. So if you can do it without being on the screen, or just there we go. Seattle did exactly what they thought they would do in terms of throwing back to the Metropolitans. There's no reason to deviate from this, so they did the job with updated logos and colors. Because barber poles aren't in, it'll catch heat from the casual fan. For better reception, the team/NHL needs to show their serious hockey history in Seattle. They aren't good at PR campaigns to help build a brand, hence a wrestling show revealing the jerseys. Which, yeah, I mean, and consider, if you want to come back to us, that Pittsburgh did absolutely a zero effort in saying that there was an NHL team named the Pirates in Pittsburgh. I don't have a lot of faith they're going to do this right. Honestly, it should have been a proper barber pole with, I mean, maybe if not the tight, because even these Montreal stripes are a bit tighter than the actual original barber poles. Anyways, you go look at the original Ottawa Senator ones; they're chunkier. It's two of these stripes to one. They could have done a better job with this. They could have made it look more like the original, and then that should have been their reverse retro instead of this thing. Everyone would have loved each of them. I don't know. I'm very whelmed. I'll buy it, but I'm whelmed.
And I think it kind of also ties down to, like, do we really want to have a Winter Classic with the two newest franchises so far? There are other teams that are begging to have a Winter Classic, and this is just it's part of the ploy of having your two newest franchises face off against each other. When there's a lot of Canadian, yes, most of Canada has the Heritage Classic,
Right.
but none of the Canadian teams has had a Winter Classic. What, one? Toronto's the only one.
Toronto's been the one against Detroit.
Against Detroit at the Big House, but
Columbus is finally getting a look at one. There's three teams that haven't been in any outdoor games. Florida is one. There's one more. That's a good thing. Hit me up in the comments.
I'm just trying to go through the list right now. Everyone has,
because with the stadium series,
well, the stadium series, it's really opened it up.
Any outdoor games.
No, you have Colorado, San Jose.
No, San Jose had the one out in against Anaheim or against LA. The first year of stadium series.
What about the Coyotes? Is the Coyotes then?
Coyotes might be the other one.
Okay,
that would make sense. And Arizona, Florida, and Columbus, I think, are the ones they listed. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Let's look at Vegas.
So, yeah, we'll move on to Vegas and a big. Sorry, multitasking. Yeah.
It looks like the same pattern as Dallas's, which is gorgeous, but that logo is okay, and the jersey is okay. I'm shocked there's not even like embellishments in the stripes. That's why I wanted the blown up version, because it's not there. You would have thought there'd be some leafing going on. Even, I mean, they look like they cram it in this thing. Why isn't there anything happening in any of that? It's really dull. Best comment I've seen, if the Vatican had a jersey.
Yeah,
it is the Pope's jersey.
It's the Pope's jersey, and it's just very underwhelming. Like, they could have gone such a different route, and like not even the V. Like, you think of the Knights, like that's not very royal looking, to be honest. Like, it's kind of,
yeah. I mean, it exists.
So,
it is. That's and the fact that it released on All Elite Wrestling show, and that's where Reddit is like, this was not a leak. That's called a campaign. Shrem's actually came up with a really good idea that I don't know why it hasn't come up before. Vegas' jersey on its own is pretty boring, but you're asking a franchise with zero significant hockey history to throw back to something that simply doesn't exist. Even throwing back to the Wranglers is only going back 30 years. So let's look at the history of the area. You have a town founded because of the Union Pacific Railroad, so why not use that as a base idea and pull from logos found in this print? And he included that, which is a brilliant idea. Union Pacific something. I mean, you use that kind of shield with Vegas or Golden Knights on it. It's already gold with splashes of red and gray. I mean, that's a genuinely good idea.
I mean, they would have to have a white jersey because they're the
white team. Do they though? I mean, but in Ann Arbor with Detroit and Toronto, it was red versus blue. Why can't you have barber pole versus gold? I think a solid gold jersey, yes, it's technically color v color, but who's really going to complain about that? when the jerseys are so remarkably different.
I think it would work. You don't want solid colors. It would be like that game, that Thursday night game for football, where they had the red. What was it? Building
It
Jets.
was red and green.
And
red green color blindness is a real
right,
problem.
and so it was awful for people that colorblind to watch it. But
especially if it's a gold jersey and they're like, okay, but it's got to be light, so it's gold and the stripes are white, and like only the logo and the numbers are gray, right? There's no reason they couldn't do stuff with this. Shrem's also had a second comment with it on Vegas.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
And ultimately, the success of Vegas's look is going to be dependent on the pants, socks, and helmets. If they use that red from their RR1 as accent colors or even as a pant color, it's an instant help to the overall aesthetic. But it's on its own. The jersey's a big mess.
Yeah, I mean, even when I saw it, I'm like, I really hope the number kit with the nameplates. You don't want that down. Okay.
You're talking, it's covering up your face.
I really hope that kind of pulls it together, because right now, without the kit, it's just it's the Pope's jersey, and that's a good way of putting it. Like, holy rollers there. I mean,
it didn't even look like it's a sparkly gold. Like why a white version of Reverse Retro 2 would have been spectacular, and they didn't. You know, that Vegas across the chest, it looks great. Why didn't, like, it's Seattle's a miss because I wish it was better historically and something more unique. It's fine. It's fine on its own, and I imagine more hockey fans are going to like it as it is versus what I want, even though it has a better historical accuracy.
I mean, I think they should have thrown back to the original jersey the team won the cup in. Like, that should be
Why not? Why not? But I digress. Seattle is fine. Vegas, they missed out on some very obvious things that I think are just like, why were they trying to reinvent the wheel when they didn't have to? I think they had some good things that they could use, and they just chose not to. And I'm curious if they did try and pursue a gold version of that jersey, because at least then it would have been something interesting.
My curiosity is piquing me and thinking that, do they pick this because, and then with the transition to Fanatics, like, they didn't want to give up a good design yet for a one game where they might have a better design for, a new alternate in a year or two or something like that. I don't know that.
And even then, would a white RR2 be like that? Oh, that's the one they're going to keep in their pocket? Seattle said they were saving the Metros for this game, which kind of disappoints me, because that Winter Classic would have been a great reverse retro, because it's updating the original, and then a proper throwback would have, even with the new logo, a proper throwback would have been the better way to go.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. Will I buy Seattle's? Yes. Will I buy Vegas? We'll see. Depends if there's a cheap one. I'll probably go Fanatics for that one at least. I'm a Fanatics apologist, though. I know.
Yeah, if you watch our videos, you'll notice that I switched more to Adidas now than Fanatics. So final thoughts. So you want to start with Shrem's final thoughts?
Yeah, I give Shrem's final thoughts. Overall, it's the two newest franchises being asked to play in a themed hockey game that relies heavily on nostalgia. It's forced to fit an agenda to grow the game, and it will, but it'll be a miss for hockey purists. And he's right. He's absolutely right. I mean, go ahead, Phil. I'll let you have the next thoughts.
No, I mean, he's exactly right. I don't think this was a good choice overall to have the Winter Classic. I mean, it's forcing to try to expand, and expand it to what? You're at this point with Seattle in that market now, that area of the country is tapped. You couldn't expand it any further out there. Honestly, the issues they're having with Arizona would have made more sense if you're really trying to keep people and trying to keep the Coyotes in Arizona. You give them a big event to try to draw more attention,
I suppose.
And we know that Quebec's going to have 2 preseason games next year. Like, okay, if you're trying to grow the market, like, pick areas that you're trying to grow the market and build it up more. I don't think you can grow it any further in the
I mean, I don't think
Northwest.
They expected Vegas to actually win a cup when they were thinking about this. I think that they knew what they were doing with this game, and I'm not opposed to them getting the game. It's not great. It's certainly not in the spirit of the thing, but I'm not shocked. It's Gary Bettman. I'm not shocked.
Well, you got to make your money.
Right.
And
But,
that's
and trying to establish these bases and be like, no, hockey belongs in Seattle, and doing a big metropolitan thing of look how long they've actually been there, yada yada.
yada, yada.
Okay.
But then why did
Okay.
they leave though? Like you're gonna be like, well, they were there, but
Well, Pacific Coast Hockey League crumbled, and it's we don't have time for that.
yeah, that's a whole different other
That-
episode. Yeah,
it's I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not exactly underwhelmed. I don't hate either of them. I am whelmed.
I will say that patch is not gonna look good on Vegas because it's a blue and red patch. So that's that Stadium Series patch. I wish we had a picture of it in the thing.
Yeah, I didn't think
It's
to do
not.
that.
It's gonna clash so much with those colors.
We'll see. I'm very curious, and it should only look better with the full set for Vegas. Seattle, I think we know what we're getting. I don't think we're going to anything news on that, but Vegas could still do something somewhat interesting. You never know. They could put numbers somewhere on the uniform too. Are there going to be ads? I don't think so. I hope not. But anyways, yeah. All in all, I know Phil's going to buy them both. I'm buying at least one, but I can't say it's topping any charts on our best ofs for the Winter Classics.
No, definitely not. So they'll be when they come out. We'll have a video. I have intention on buying it with the number kit, especially Vegas. Like I need to get it with the number kit.
Yeah.
Like it's just not gonna look right. So I mean, stay tuned for those videos whenever they get released.
Hold on, shouldn't I say Phil? Take us out.
I wasn't getting there yet, but okay. Go ahead.
Phil, take us out.
All right, so stay tuned. We're gonna have more episodes as soon as those jerseys get released to the public for purchase. We'll have them and we'll have videos posted. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and tune in for another episode of
You're not Shrems. Where's Shrems?
He's on vacation.
I miss Shrems.
Yeah.